this is the flow that I've been using to map out my creative messaging strategy. So we have personas as one lane. I call them lanes. We have personas, our desires, or our personas' desires, our creative ideas, and then we'll have angles. You can see these pills showing up down the bottom here. They're called pills in the developer world. So those are the different lanes. And then after angles, we've got creative briefs. I'm using creative briefs to come up with creative prompts for Nano Banana Pro, or video scripts and visual storyboarding with Nano Banana, MCPs with Higgsfield AI, with Magnific, and so on. So there are two elements going on here. There is this flow canvas, and then over here we have what I call the loops experience. Now, if you're wondering, I've spent like months on this, and the back end of this is incredible because it does deep research with Sonar. It can go off and do Reddit research and all of that, right? So if we think about a persona of our particular market, now at the moment I'm just demoing it with this product I just randomly found. And so it works for any industry. I use this for lead generation, digital products, SaaS. It really doesn't matter, right? Because it is trained on the biopsychology of ads. So we think about the persona, and then we think about the deeper why, the higher order goals of actually what they want, right? Okay, so I'm going to focus on the breathless stair climber. Should we go with that one? All right, I'm going to go with the polluted air breather. And with desires, I only do 3 to 5 really maximum. So one thing with AI, it doesn't matter whether you're using this, Claude, or ChatGPT, AI gets sillier as the weeks and months go on because everyone's feeding it really bad data. Right, and I don't know whether you noticed that. I noticed it even with Fable 5. But anyway, okay, so what I'm going to do is, with our persona, the polluted air breather, I want you to do some deep research just to make sure that this is actually a problem in an actual persona. And then I want you to verify as well the desires around that specific persona. I want you to look for keywords, trends, things that people are talking about, what they've tried before and has not worked. What are the different beliefs that they have, and what are they hearing? And I don't want anything made up. I want this as actual research. And I also want you to come up with and also find a subreddit that we could probably look at and some possible keywords for that as well. Yep. Now I should have changed this to beef up the model. I've got Open Router plugged in with this too, so you can use any model. So if any new models come out, you're not restricted to just using GPT or Claude Sonnet or Opus or anything like that. Very soon, I'm pretty sure I have the GLM 5.2 on here. I'll be adding that very soon by the looks. Yeah. All right, cool. So we'll have to. All right, so it's already done its research just while I've babbled around looking at that. And these are some of the things. So this is using Perplexity's deep research. It's coming out with core frustrations, coughing and mucus, burning sensations, fatigue. All right, cool. This is giving us some pretty good stuff. Toxic air, dirty air, wildfire smoke. All right, so what I can do is we also have access to do some Reddit research. Okay, can we now use this research? I'm going to add this as context as well. Can we now do some Reddit research on specific words, phrases, and pain points around this very specific thing? So what you just mentioned in this last message. I generally don't do a lot of like insane prompts anymore. I used to. It's about feeding it the right... Oh, okay, let me fix that. Turns out I didn't have it connected in integrations. But anyway, done. Refresh the page and we'll do that again. Pics if blank. Now, I should be able to do this. Normally, I give it the subreddit, so I don't actually know how well it's going to perform without giving it a subreddit name. So generally, I just give it Facebook ads, and it'll go off and do that. So it seems to be calling the tool correctly. Here we go. All right, here we go. So people are using air purifiers and humidifiers, which you can't carry with you anywhere you go, like this other product. All right, cool. Now I could load more if I wanted to. And I can look at some of these comments and different things. Yeah, see, here you go. Disassembled and cleaned every week. And they need to be, yeah. So there's lots of us versus them type of creative ideas right there. Video, in images, and a whole range. Okay, now can you review our desires based on this Reddit research? And can we update any desires? I want to really look for really strong ones that are not made up and relevant to our product and our market. I'm going to put the product in here so you've got full context to it. And also we want to add one more. So I only want 5 for this particular persona. That's incredibly awkward. Accidentally stopped the recording. All right, I'm going to push this. Now we don't have our MCP added yet. So I just want to check that. I always like to do this double check because the moment you get any kind of AI to rethink what they've come up with, I find it always helps. I've reviewed. Yeah, see, here we go. It's refined them even more because now it has that data, right? One thing I've got to make sure that I get working again, it's supposed to have these little recommendation selectors so it can help guide you in the right kind of direction on what to do next. Now all I'm going to do is just say, okay, perfect. Can you, I'm going to add it to context just to make sure. Can you now update these personas and add this new one? This is quite interesting here. I just want to wake up and feel oxygen flowing through my body without fighting it. Ooh. It's so discouraging. So whenever you think about your ad, you always need to think about the current beliefs they're going through. A lot of people just go really heavy into their offer and their product, and that's generally why they will have to compete on price. But when you start to go that extra mile and start to go into the deep emotion and different things, did it add them? Okay. It has added them. I think it's also, I'm reading that, 18 minutes ago. $3 months ago. Okay, so it has created a new one because it is created a new persona because it's, I getcha. So the breathing wellness, we've got 2. All right. I'm going to try and, so you were meant to just work on the current persona that we had selected, which was the polluted air breather. And you were meant to just update those and add one more, unless they didn't fit into this current persona. But that's the research we were meant to have done. All right, cool. So after desires, we've now got our creative ideas, and we read some really good ones just back here. I hate it when the air quality is poor and I feel suffocated inside. Okay, so we've got our new one. All right. Okay, now I'm going to let you pick instead of me picking one of the most high impactful desires that we just listed for this particular persona, the polluted air breather. And what we want to do now is we want to come up with our creative ideas. So I want you to use our swipe file and come up with some creative ideas that are going to help around that specific belief and take them from that old belief to the new belief of our current product. And what I'm going to do as well is just make sure that it has our product details. I'm going to bump up the model here to 5.5. I find like GPT even 4 does fairly well with just summarizing like research data. Like back in the day, we used to think it was the duck's nuts. And generally, if I wanted to start thinking things through more properly, then I'll switch to GPT 5.5. Some say that Claude is better. I've yet to find that it actually does. When it came to coding this particular product that I've been working on for nearly 9 months now, it is generally been Codex, so OpenAI's models that have generally performed better. All right, so it has come up with our creative ideas: before smog, after smog, commuter smog. So mistakes, found a story, problem solution, before and after, community and belonging. We don't have any on that at the moment. So at the moment as well, what I'm doing with this is instead of bringing in like millions of ads, I'm just bringing in ads that have been running for like a decent amount of time and that you could recreate and have belief, and you could recreate them for any industry, any market, any product or offer, right? That's what I'm working on. This isn't some like gigantic database of every Harry's ad on under the sun that potentially does not work. There's been a lot of thought and care gone into selecting the ads that go into this. So if we have a look, we should have plenty of before and afters, and we do. I just need to go through and make this wider, not have as many cards. So there are things I'm currently working on. It's not insanely polished, but the lanes and the flow definitely are. So after our creative ideas, the way that I do it is I then create angles. And the reason being is your angles, like if you've got like an ask first them, and I could use this ask first them. And for me, it's what are the different angles, ask first them, to different chat models, right? GPT or going to chat to Claude, which is what all the advertisers love to do. What you'll generally find is here's one angle. Over time, the model gets worse. So there's a before and after there that I could focus my angle around. That's my message. That's the creative direction that I'm currently going through. What could be another one? Another one could be generally with a conversation. You probably know this, talking to your best friends, your family members. Their conversations they go off in different tangents and different directions. And that's the thing about chatting with AI. Now, this will only go off on a tangent if I feed it lots of context. And that is why I am only selecting what I want to send to it each time. Obviously, as well, it reduces hallucination and also anything to do with more cost, because these higher models cost more. Now, the other things that advertisers and marketers aren't really thinking about, and they probably don't even know, but I've noticed with coding this particular product and using them both with my own ads, is they tend to get worse after a new release, which is generally why they will need a new release. And that is because this is true AI. It's refining and changing, but if people are putting in so much garbage and rubbish, then it's just going to turn a good model silly. And then everybody's going to have the same types of ads. So you see there's quite a few different angles that we could use there. So I don't actually know this product or niche or market or anything, right? And obviously if I was to do this, like, I would spend probably at least a good hour on here getting this right and going through, because then coming up with creative prompts for the MCP is incredibly fast. Now we're already here at creative ideas. So next we have our angles. Does the next one come up? No, okay. So for some reason, the lanes don't show after this. But next is creative briefs, which I don't use as though I'm sending to somebody else. I just use it so AI has something to work with when it comes to Higgsfield or Magnific, because I can use both of those or FAL directly in this chat. I don't need to go off to Higgsfield or Magnific and type everything out or copy and paste. I can just do it here. It calls the MCP, it brings it back, it shows it on here. I can go new variation, and it will very soon rename the file and upload it to Meta account. I'm just waiting on approvals for the app for that. I'm very close. I'm currently using it right now, but I can as the developer. So yeah, I'm consistently making changes, consistently improving each and every call, every tool and every skill, because it does have skills as well. Now I won't show you the image generation part of it today, another video, but there we go. So we've got the creative ideas. That is the biggest thing. And very soon I'm working on some other skill sets to give you very emotional ways to tap into the subconscious when it comes to creative ideas. If you want to get access to this, it is currently at a lifetime deal. At the time of recording, may not be very long. I'm only bringing on about 40 people because I want to work with you. There's a community, and I'm about to drop a course on how to use this most effectively. But it does have more than just this flow. There is a canvas, there is image canvas with bulk generation and variant testing. There is AI agents too, so you can chat to this app inside of Telegram or very soon Slack as well. And I currently have access to the Meta Ads component. Very soon, once approvals are sorted, you will too. And very soon, I'm just finalizing MCP, so you could use this inside of Claude Code, or the data that's inside of this, the data that is inside of each of your lanes as well. All right, thank you, and don't wait, because this won't be a lifetime deal for much longer. It is BYO, but you just use your Higgsfield account, use your Magnific account, connect Open Router. I'm spending $3 to $5 a month. That is it on Open Router, and I'm testing this like crazy. So it's saving a lot of money and a lot of time.